Hey guys, 2004 Hyundai Santa Fe, two-wheel drive. Okay, replacing the rear wheel bearing hub assembly. This is the sucker. They're about 80-90 bucks. Anyway, first thing I'm going to do is obviously jack up the car, put it on jack stands, and then we'll get to the sucker, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so the car's on jack stands. The wheel is placed under the car, under the frame of the car. Second line of defense, just in case a jack stand fails or something else fails. So first we have to remove the rear brake caliper. Simply two 14mm bolts securing the caliper housing on. Caliper mount. This rear disc doesn't look great. The pads look fine, but I think this caliper might be a little bit seized, so I'm going to free that up before I put it back on. Clean up that rotor. But where are you? There. Okay, so caliper off. Tie the caliper up somewhere where it's not going to fall down. And hang on the brake lines. And we are going to need, oh man, that's going to be fun. We have to use an impact screwdriver to take the, the rotor and rear drum assembly. There's the parking brakes inside of the drum, inside of the rotor, so it's basically two parts. It's got a disc brake for the rear brakes, and then inside the disc brake, the center, there's a drum brake for the parking brake. So anyway, I gotta get an impact hammer. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so parking brake's on in order to keep this from moving. And this little set screw, there's a little Phillips set screw. Looks like there was originally two here, but there's only one. It just holds the rotor drum assembly to the hub, to the center bearing hub. And an impact, I don't know if you don't know, an impact screwdriver, this one I've had for like 20 years, it's held together with a band clamp because the plastic broke. But as you hammer on it, so it hammers and pushes into the, pushes itself firmly into the screw. And as you hammer on it, it slightly turns. So you'll be hammering on it and it turns at the same time, and then we'll loosen the screw. So just bang that off. And again, I've got the parking brake on to hold the hub assembly from moving. Hope you can see past me, but that was less painful than I thought. It actually moved. Not much, but so once that screws off out of there, release the parking brake, and you should be able to pull the rotor and drum assembly off. So I'm just going to release the parking brake. Get off. And it is stiff. Never whack on the face of the rotor. I don't want to do that. Oh, this sucker is stiff. This is more than looking like an original rear disc. Come on. Try moving that parking brake a bit more. Not wanting to release, that's better. All that loosened rust in there, grabbing as I'm spinning this. I have a feeling that the parking brake assembly is going to need some lubing while I'm in there. This is not going to loosen, so I'm going to have to get a screwdriver and I'm going to have to back off on the parking brake adjuster nut, which is accessible through this hole. So I'll get a screwdriver and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, lots of fun. Ended up just tapping the rotor all the way around. Could not, from the rust in there, I couldn't see through the hole to get to an adjuster. And look at inside of this rear parking brake assembly. This is a parking brake pad that delaminated from this parking brake here. It's just majorly seized up everywhere. So I'm gonna have to run out and get parking brake pads before I go any further on this, because I can do the hub, but what's the point in doing it before you put the... Anyway, I'll let you listen to the bearing. This is the bearing and hub assembly here. Once we get to this point, it's very simple. We're just going to take this cap off, pull it off. There's a retainer nut in the middle. I think there's a cotter pin on there too, not sure. But look at this. Evidence of primitive life. Someone at some time has just monkeyed on this, hammered on it. Look at that. You know, there's a little crack in there. I'll try and get you closer so you can see. See a little crack in there where this is the grease retainer. This is the cover to keep the grease in and keep the water out. And some frickin' marmoset has hammered on that, and water probably got in there. And listen to the bearing. Hear that? Shouldn't make that sound. Should make no sound at all. Or barely any sound. Anyway, what fun. Off to get pads. I'll be back. Okay, still doing the center wheel bearing. As we pointed out before, some chimpanzee hammered on this and destroyed the dust cap. I don't have another one, so I'm going to have to just put this back on and seal this up. It's late and it's Saturday, so there's nowhere to even get one today, and this person needs their car back. It's not going to hurt it anyway if I seal this up with sealant. I don't know why someone would pull that off, especially a mechanic, because that's more than likely who did this, and why they would leave it like that knowing water is going to get in. But anyway, just with a screwdriver we're going to pop this bearing cap off. Oops. And it's probably going to be a bit of a pain because it's had water getting in there. And just slowly work around the lip around the outside. Twist and pop. No need to hammer on it with a frickin' sledgehammer, as it looks like someone has done at some point. And when your small screwdriver is too small, get a bigger one. Ow, that frickin' hurt. Damn it, that happens all the time. So now we got the center nut. You see if you can see the little white mark here, that's where it's been hammered in and into the groove here to lock the bolt on. So anyway, we're gonna get I don't know what size that is, but we're gonna pull that sucker off. Let's try 27. Not even close. 30. No, it's gonna be like 32. 32. Better be, yes. Okay. Okay, that's a 32 millimeter center nut. There is a retaining washer, see that slides along a little groove there. So let's pop that out. And the whole hub and bearing assembly should come out. And actually I can feel the crunchiness in there. Got my fingers on the inner bearing, I can feel the crunchiness compared to what the new one's going to be like. Anyway. Since I got the brakes off as well, I'm going to be cleaning everything up under here. And it's going to be easier to put the brake shoes for the brake, for the parking brake back together while this is off. So I'll finish up with those first before I put the hub back on. I wasn't intending to doing brake shoes, but apparently I am. So anyway, I'll clean that up. What a mess. And be back. Okay, now the rear parking brake crap is taken care of. We can get back to what we originally started with, which was the rear wheel bearing and hub. So where is that rag? Ah. Damn right. Sorry about that. How rude. So this is a sealed unit. This is just going to slide on there. But I want to make sure no water gets in the back here. So I'm going to... Where's my grease gun? Just put some regular wheel bearing grease, or this is synthetic. It doesn't matter whether it's synthetic or normal. I just want to put some grease against the back where the bearing is going to meet the back of the hub there. Let's just slide this sucker on. Come on, baby. Come on, you want to go on? Just because you're being difficult. There we go. So just in case water gets in there, I'm going to blast some grease in here too. Because I'm going to have to, like I said, repair this cap. And it may hopefully not leak. If there was a dealership open today, I'd go get a new cap. Completely unavailable at this time of day and this time of the weekend, so you can see this little dent here that's in it from some idiot hammering on it. I'm going to try and tap that out, and basically just this cap goes back on. But as you can see, when it pushes through, that's where water's going to get in there. So obviously I got to put the center nut back on. But can't think of anything else to tell you. What was torque for this? I will let you know the torque spec. Much better. And No noisy. So then this little notch here is where you have to hammer. You're going to want to take a chisel and tap that down, tap the lip of the nut down into the notch. You don't have to use a new nut. You should. Everybody recommends you should, blah, blah, blah. In a perfect world, you use a new nut. Up to you whether you want to or not. I am not going to. Because the new bearing, I mean, it's tighter. So that once we put this bearing on there, this nut is not going to tighten to the same spot. So the same part of the collar, which was right here last time, is not going to line up with the lip anymore. So you're still basically using a new part of the nut to lock that nut in there. And I'm just going to use my impact hammer because I'm too lazy to stand up at the moment and restart the video camera and all that crap. Yeah, that's not going to do it. I'm going to have to actually get up and not be lazy, and I don't want to. So there, it's just notched down into the notch of the spindle. And that'll lock the nut on. That's how it's retained. I prefer a cotter pin myself, but this is the way a lot of plate companies do it. So anyway, that's a lot better. No noise whatsoever. So this car is not going to sound like a freight train going down the road anymore. I don't know if you can hear. Can you see that bearing movement? Back and forth. If you can hear them slopping around in there. There you go. Hear that knocking? Look at that. Toast. Make a good boat anchor. Anyway, thanks for watching. We're just putting the drum back on. I resanded down the drum and just sanded all the rusty spots off, the high spots off, and the inside of the drum. Well, it's a drum rotor, but the inside of the drum where the pads are, because there's going to be a little lip that's going to catch the pad, so I sanded that little lip off, and it's just rust built up over the years. You just sand it off with sandpaper, wire wheel, whatever, and we'll be putting this back together, and that's about it. Thanks for watching.